Political analyst, and last but not least, we have Honorable Paul Njoroge, former nominated senator. And just before we took the break, we were talking about Kenya and just looking at the moral threshold that we have, given that there is a war against graft. But sometimes when you look at how that war is fought, and yesterday, incidentally, was International World Anti-Corruption Day, and I don't know how much, as Kenya, we have to take home and say this is, how much we have gained so far. But I cut you short, Honorable Paul Njoroge, maybe just to give you your chance and right of reply to what was being discussed before we get to the main, what we're going to talk about. Yeah,
I was still in that point of Murkomen representing my friend Sonko. As I said, one of the options after tomorrow, if the court decides it goes Waitito way, I think one of the options, in order to let the speaker stand for the governor for about 60 days, is to impeach Sonko. And the process has to be decided at the Senate. Here comes Murkomen, is a leader, is a leader of majority at the Senate. And I think, to me, probably Murkomen had not thought of that. I'm sure he never did it maliciously. In fact, I think he never saw this one coming. But I'm saying it was a wrong move. He needed to be there just as a friend, but not representing Sonko.
Okay.
Yeah, because...
so there would be...
I was also to be there, it's only that I was a bit far. Because, Sonko is a friend of many, despite all the happenings. And I think Murkomen would have chosen that line of
supporting him otherwise, other than just in court. But that still leaves us with a very big question mark, which we've still not gone round. And I guess it's because maybe we're looking at it from a political perspective of our moral threshold, because there has got to be, like you mentioned, Zach, there has got to be a higher law that, governs us, higher than just the written law that is there, because the written law really is meant to govern us when things have gone wrong, not when things are going right. But stepping away from that and stepping aside from that, given that that's the main topic, we'll wait for tomorrow to hear what the pronouncement is going to be on Sonko. But of course, given that there has been previous ones, it is likely that he may be barred from going to office. But let's wait for that to be done. But let's now look at a political point. And one of the questions that we wanted to ask, or rather we had asked earlier on, was in regards to the Mount Kenya vote. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has yet again taken a swipe at elected politicians who have been opposing the Building Bridges initiative and instead spreading hatred and division among Kenyans. Speaking in vernacular, President Kenyatta said that come January, he will deal with those politicians who are campaigning for 2022 instead of focusing on development and unity, and that only God knows who will be the country's fifth president. Chris Thairo tells us more.
President Uhuru Kenyatta was in Gatundu North constituency, Kiambu County, to specifically open a dispensary constructed by the government of Japan at a tune of 8.9 million shillings. But the ongoing political debate on the BBI report that continued to raise the political tempo in the country seemed to have made the head of state furious.
Juzi tulizindua hii kitu inaitwa BBI. Hata haikumaliza weekend tukasema watu wakasome. Sasa wajuaji wanazunguka kila pahali wakituambia ati vile tutafanya. Ne mafie na ko. Wenzetu. Na ndipo mimi nasema jameni, tujisomee sisi wenyewe. Kwa sababu kuna mambo muhimu ambayo inaguza maisha ya kila Mkenya. Na tunataka kujiuliza kama hiyo swali nimeuliza sasa. Kama serikali ya Japan na kanisa Katoliki wamejenga hii hospitali kwa milioni 8. Hiyo pesa bilioni 70 inaenda wapi kila mwaka? Hiyo ni swali lazima tujiulize sisi wenyewe.
While speaking in his local dialect, a visibly angry president directly attacked those politicians allied to the Tanga Tanga team and those who have been opposing the BBI report, saying that they are the ones spreading divisive politics as they campaign for 2022.
mutiri akigu adu mutiri akigu na mutiga atuwadu akigu ati no mukire muthomerwo ni mundu ati haha ati akimuhuyukira haha ati uria mugwika inywe ni inywe mu uria mugwika na ni njui andu a Kenya marenda thayu andu a Kenya marenda urumwe.
On Friday, a section of Mount Kenya leaders met in Embu County and agreed that the BBI report should be implemented by Parliament as opposed to a referendum, a position that seems to be contradicting that of the President.
Inywe batawanyu ne kumenya muguikara atia ti uhoro wa mutongoria no tukae tujiulize kama tunawakilishwa kulingana na vile tunastahili kuwakilishwa kweli. Kura zote zafanana au zifanani? Lazima tujiulize hiyo swali, kwa sababu labda ni saa nyingine hiyo ndio inaleta mabishano kati yetu.
None of the local politicians, including area MP, Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, and his deputy James Nyoro, were given a chance to address the crowd.
Tukanyange pamoja wenzangu. Au ni namna gani? Wanyoraga akirete mageciria Kirio kuria gitiri kundu gutire kindu itowi na kahinda gakinya niene njui ni amaragia na tiare amaragia riu kahinda gakinya twina inya twacindwo uria tugwika uri ndiragia na marakara kidogo no ni undu wa ati wokira no mihuyo iyo handu hamoke mamwakire thibitari teno ni matore ko bathiurukaga ku micemanio kuhana gogathie gogaikara gutire mundu muritu gutire mundu wa guthomithio ithuĩ nĩ tũkagira tene na muthenya ũcio wakinya Ngai nowe na inyuĩ mũyũ wa thuru.
The proponents of the BBI report plan to start countrywide campaigns to popularize the report early January before pushing for a referendum mid next year. Chris Dairu, KTN News.
All right, so that was the president speaking, and evidently a very angry president, but he had a lot to say. Let me start with you, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, as a member of Jubilee Party. Your guess is as good as mine who he was referring to that are opposing the BBI report and, are up and about already trying to discourage Kenyans from, going into the report. But question is Jubilee Party still a party that is going to make it to 2022 as one party, in your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, I heard the president that day, and up to now, I have not understood clearly where he was coming from. In the sense that when we met in Bomas, he said that we should read, interrogate, understand, and consult. We are leaders ourselves. And when we go up country every weekend, Wananchi ask us to give them information on what is going on. And you can't go to face your people when you don't have opposition as a leader. Other people may talk here in the studio where they go nowhere, but ourselves, we are accountable to some people. And we go up country every weekend. So we had a caucus in Embu as members of Jubilee. From the Mount Kenya region, 57 of us. And previously we had reservations about this document. And our reservations were informed by utterances from the NASA side that this BBI will be a tsunami to sweep us to the sea and all that. They will introduce a power of prime minister. The power of electing a president will be removed from the people and given to parliament. We will not have one man, one vote. We had problems with that. So when the report came, we went to Embu, just the way the president advised. We looked at the document. First and foremost, we realized there is no tsunami. Number two, we realized that one man, one vote had been protected. Number three, we realized it didn't have a powerful prime minister, and the people will be allowed to elect their own leader directly. We also found that it was not burdening Wajiko. There was nothing in BBI that is bringing extra burden, because even the prime minister who has proposed will just get a salary of the prime minister. And then we said we support this BBI. And we said, since the other people on the other side are supporting BBI, we are supporting BBI. There is no contention. There is no conflict. So let's dispense with this thing as quickly as possible. So what was the
president angry about?
And we were saying, from what we looked in BBI, we didn't see anything that requires referendum. So we said, we as parliament are ready any time to dispense off with the BBI by supporting it 100% and making it a reality, so that we have time. Let me tell you, in our region, our priority is not BBI, it's not a handshake. Our priority are milk prices, coffee, tea, small businessmen. So we are saying, we have had this BBI issue for 1.5 years. Can we dispense it off with it quickly so that we can go back to our focus, the 4 big agenda, the 4 big agenda? Because if you hear pronouncement for the last 6 months, nobody talks about the big 4. We just talk about BBI. We have lost focus. So we were saying, we agree with the president 100%. We have looked at the document, and in our view, this is acceptable to us. So if the president was informed that there is a group that is opposing BBI, that is not true. We are for BBI. What is different from us and the others is that we are asking for to hasten the process
quickly done so that we
quickly,
can move on to...
so that we can go back to our agenda. And that's where we are, and that is our position.
Okay.
And we continue telling our people there's nothing wrong with the BBI. Although the 190 are being told to read, there are no hard copies. It's on online. The grandmothers, the grandfathers cannot access online. So they have to rely on their elected representative. The sovereignty of this country is exercised by the people directly or through their elected leaders. And let me say this notion that you can ignore elected leaders is a farce. It cannot happen. There are people, my friend in Madeira, who depend on me to tell them what is happening and to tell them this is the way we should go.
And some of them will even argue that's why they have put you there.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So when people work here in Nairobi, that like when we go to that function, and elected leaders are not given a chance to speak before their own people. That is not very right. Leaders are leaders. Their mandate may be very small, but he has 2, 3, 4 people who like him for whatever it is. And when a leader is there and this is somebody who elected, you woke up in the morning, you elected the president, you elected this leader, and he's not given a chance to address those people. It normally doesn't go very well with the public. Because people want to hear their leaders. And by the way, these leaders are elected. They are not nominated. And somebody woke up from a different home, many people, without having a conversation, and decided this is the right man.
Let me bring in Honorable Paul Njoroge. Senator, your thoughts on the president ranting and raving, and according to Honorable Gachagua, he says he may not be clear who he was ranting against, but evidently the president was targeting somebody or a group of people who apparently were not very happy or satisfied with the BBI.
Well, let me say this. After Bomas, there has come different arguments, and especially coming from Tanga Tanga side, where my friend comes from, or falls under. Because they started by claiming that the process of the BBI must be taken to Parliament. And it was after some heated debate came about during those public functions that again they changed the tone while at Naivasha. And they started making it look they were okay, even if it comes as through that line of a referendum. What I would say is that the same team came up with proposals and criticized the BBI report before even the BBI report came out. Remember, there's a time they held a press conference discussing the BBI report, which had not even been...
Which now they have said is fine, and he has given reasons as to why they had, aspersions towards it, but has also explained that after reading it, they have now realized their fears were unfounded, and therefore they are okay with the document.
Yes. But between me and you, we know very well that the BBI report is not in its finality. There is still more to be done to it. But just because of that area of the Prime Minister, and I know that is where the whole thing is, because this is a team which has really been against the creating of that position of the Prime Minister from the word go. They want it to look like it is okay, just because they know there are those experts who will continue working on the document. Before now, the copies which he is referring to are released and given to members of the public.
From your opinion, what is your take on the position, and given that it's still a document that is in progress, it's still being made, has not been finalized, what is your thinking? Is it, can you go through Parliament? He explains that the reason why they would want it fast-tracked is so that we can get back to the Big Four agenda.
Yeah, you see, one of the things is that, and I know the MP here, the Honorable here, knows that very well. There are some areas in the BBI that cannot be done at the Parliament. It has to go a referendum way. Because Article 255, Article 257 and Article 10 is very clear that in order for a constitution to be amended in some areas, the people of Kenya has to be involved. And I agree with him that members of the public or Kenyans must be given a chance to read the report of the BBI to come up with an informed decision when they'll be actually voting against all for the document. There are those areas which cannot, and that is why even Muturi himself, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly,
said it's not ready.
Said that he's not ready to receive the report because it is not a parliament report.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Zach, your thoughts on the president ranting and raving, and I want us to now maybe even just focus on central Kenya and what may be happening in central. We do know that the deputy president has, according to what we've seen, made inroads into central Kenya, and this might be at the expense of the president.
I would want to start by saying, let us see the president's anger for what it is. And the president's anger is a holy anger, being the king of the land. And his anger was not visibly directed at the people. It was directed at the leaders of the people. Clearly, if I'm wrong, I would want correction. His anger is not directed to the masses and the good people of God. It is directed at their Article 1 representatives, delegated. Why? He continues to say in his anger that before the report was launched, these leaders had the report, had read it to the people, and had made a verdict. When the real report was presented to the president as the appointive task force, they retreated, took different positions, and are now advising what to be done. Yet they rejected it ab initio. Now, when I was growing as a little boy in the slopes of the mountain, my mother hated two things badly. And many of the wars in the house were associated with those two things. One is lies. Mother hated lies. Anything lying. She would go to the extent of chasing you for kilometers to punish you. The second thing, English has no word for it. But loosely, Mom hated contention. Contentious people. In Kikuyu, it's called hohi. Contentious people. You say this, they say this. Once you say it, they say the other thing. Once you say now the thing they are saying, they take you to another thing. The moment you settle with the thing they want, they take you to another thing or changes the thing you're saying to fit their contention. Yeah, go, those kind of people. It is a very deep word in my mother's tongue. The people he was referring to, and the senator has called them. I don't like using my tongue to keep pronouncing, but these people who are calling themselves Tanga Tanga, especially in the Mount Kenya, are contentious people to the core. And I would want to say, because a member for Madeira is a proud member of the Tanga Tanga, by saying on national TV that BBI report has no clause that shall be taken to the people is a height of dishonesty. Why? Because even if we would now structure the report and implement it as it is, supposing we will not change things, and I hope people will now give their opinions, we cannot change the structure of parliament by the vote in the parliament. The parliament, as the report is, reintroduces the position of a leader of opposition who is a member of parliament ex officio. The parliament will get a new member called prime minister, who will be the head of government business in the house, who is an ex officio member coming from the party with the majority. This leader of opposition is the second runners-up member. The person who vied for president, coming number 2, is getting back to parliament to oversight the government. Surely, Article 255, sub-article I, you cannot alter the structure of parliament clearly as it is being altered here without asking the people. National ethos suggests that there shall be an ethics commission to sit under the president, which shall formulate our national history as well as community history. These things cannot be changed by a section of 290 plus 47 people.
In summary, what you're saying is that the people in Tanga Tanga are not being honest with Kenyans. Is that what you're saying?
Completely dishonest, and more so to our people. I say our people because I am from the mountain.
Okay.
Our people have suffered the major brunt of their onslaught of lies.
Of lies. All right. We have a member of Tanga Tanga here, Honorable Gashago. What's your right of reply to him?
To start with, it's nothing like Tanga Tanga. It's just a derogatory way of profiling some people. These people who are called Suku Tanga Tanga are independent-minded members of parliament. People who think on their feet, and people who don't fear to pronounce what they believe in. And if you check in that mountain, they are the majority. You know, they are 57. The others are 10. Would it be
accurate to say they are allied to the deputy president?
No, they are not. There is nothing like being allied to the deputy president. We are allied to Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. That is Jubilee. My friend, when I woke up to vote, I voted for 2 people. And I don't think I made a mistake. And for anybody to tell me that after I voted for 2 people, I should acknowledge one and leave the other, that is the height of absurdity. I'm above 18, I have a mind of my own. When I went to vote, I found the name of Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. I liked them as a pair. I'll support them as a pair.
So are you telling us in Jubilee, everything is okay?
No, I'm saying it may not be okay. But if you check, out of the group with the mountain, 57 are looking at things that way. 10 are looking differently. That tells you. And let me also tell you, Zach may not know, all politics is local. And when you see a member of parliament who knows what he's doing speak, he can never go against his people. When you see me speak, I've just come from Madeira this morning. I left at 4 a.m. I was there since Friday. I am with the people every day. They tell me, Mheshimiwa, you're on the right track. And when I miss the mark, they'll tell me, stop what you are saying, we don't like it. All those 57 members of parliament are people who are in touch with the ground.
Okay.
And when we speak, and he has said, Zach has said what his mother told him. That is true. Our people hate lies. Our people hate deception. We told people we are for Uhuru and Ruto. We cannot go back and say we don't like Ruto now. He has said what his mother doesn't like. And it's not just his mother, it's our community. Our community is not a community of conmen. It's a very respectable community. In fact, we are businessmen. And business thrives on trust. If today I tell you I'll give you this tie, I cannot come back after 2 years and say, no, I've decided to give it to somebody else. So when we speak ourselves, we speak what our people are telling us. We are saying this BBI, if there are issues that needs referenda, we are saying we have no problem. And as far as we are concerned, our concern with the people from the mountain is that we have taken too much time on the handshake and the BBI. And we are worried that the president has 3 years to go, and there is so much to be done. And we are really very, very, very concerned that if we go again for a referenda, and if it is contested, it will not be contested if they bring what the document they brought to Bombas, it will not be contested. But if the so-called experts go and bring other issues, like making a power prime minister, diluting the one man, one vote, it will be contested. If it is contested, we will go 1.5 years for referenda. Then we are in 2021, we go for elections.
Trust
when will the president define his legacy? And me, my concern, let me tell you, and I want to urge my president, whom I love, whom I have worked for, to be careful. The people on the other side have no mandate. Nobody can ask them a question if we don't perform. Nobody, because nobody elected them. The mandate was given to Uhuru Kenyatta, the NASA side.
Those who came with the handshake.
Yes, because at the end of it all, if we don't deliver on the president's legacy, if we go to referenda, we go to elections, we don't deliver on the legacy, the person to be held account is none other than Uhuru Kenyatta and ourselves in Jubilee. And that is our concern from the region. Ourselves, we have no problem. If it's parliamentary, let it come. If it's referendum, let it come, provided they don't sneak in some other mischievous things. And that press conference the senator is talking about worked. We went and said, we from the mountain, we are saying in no uncertain terms, any attempt to change one man, one vote is unacceptable to us.
All right.
And we are right to do that.
Let me just take you back a little bit to something you have said.
Yes.
And you've mentioned, referring to what Zach said in terms of lies. And there was a promise from the president and Ruto as they were campaigning, we fanya yako 10,
yes,
na mimi nifanye yangu 10. But that seems to have changed.
So we believed the president. We believe him up to today. And that is why we don't see any problem.
Is that why maybe there's a lot of fear with the handshake because that may change the political...
There are some people within Jubilee who have brought us a narrative, the commanders of this world, Wabugo of this world. And Zach has said very well what his mother believes in. And that is what our people believe in. If you say this table is round, you cannot come and say this table is square.
So what would you say to the likes of Madam Waigoro, who is from that area, that at some point is on record saying that Central Kenya is ready for even Raila Odinga, should he be
Take a walk to Kirijaga. I told you all politics is local. It's upon to every elected leader to make a choice. This is a democracy. But any leader who knows what he or she is doing must listen to the people that you lead.
Okay.
I listen to the people of Madeira. And they are telling me that the presidency must be respected. We must respect and support Uhuru Kenyatta to the last day. We must at the same time embrace the deputy president because we chose them as a pair. That is what my people tell me. And when I come here, I don't speak for myself.
All right, Senator.
I speak for what my people tell me.
Senator?
Yeah. You see, one thing I want to correct my brother here. I've always admired his politics. Sometimes he's a very principled person, leader, let me put it that way. But I want to tell him that Kenya is made of 44 tribes. He would not be very wrong. And there is no one time, and I stand to be corrected, that Uhuru, in those campaigns which he was conducting in Mount Kenya region, that he ever promised Ruto for 10 years, distribution of
that is on record.
of the presidency. No, let me finish.
That is on record. You can play the clip here.
Yes,
let's also be very honest in national debate.
During their campaign.
Let's be honest in national debate.
Let me finish.
You have that clip.
I think let me finish. I said I stand to be corrected, and I wish it can be played here. He said about 10-10 3 times. Two times when he was in Rift Valley, then the other that time when he was in Uhuru Park. He never said it in Mount Kenya, even one time.
Context, yes.
And for that matter, the people mostly who have owned that saying are people, are leaders, not people, leaders from Mount Kenya. I want to tell you something. The Tanga Tanga team, despite Mheshimiwa trying to disown a movement which is there.
No, that is derogatory. we are independent and principled leaders who speak their mind.
I agree with you.
And nobody forces us to think because we have our own thinking.
The Tanga Tanga team, as I would call it, because we know there is Tanga Tanga and Kieleweke. Anyway, they are there. I would tell you, and I would like to prepare Mheshimiwa here. When you look at those guys, those MPs, I call them guys because most of them are my age mates. So that's why I'm a bit careless when I'm saying guys, because they're my age mate. I'm saying it in light tone. When you look at their face, 80% of them will never come back. That's a promise. If you go to...
On what basis would you come up with that?
Through experience. This is through experience and through record.
Okay.
And remember what their people are telling them right now will elect you back. That is politics. They know what they want. You know, Mount Kenya region, they are working on their economy because one friend of ours, who is William Ruto, has that mechanism of sending the Tanga Tanga leaders with some cash just to go and win that vote of 2022 election.
Are you suggesting that the deputy president is bribing them or using money?
Of course, he's using money. That's why you have seen the most areas where he has conducted these harambees is in Mount Kenya, and especially targeting churches.
I think I need to reply to that.
Maybe you're right of reply.
And you defend me against Mheshimiwa.
I think it is wrong for Senator to come here on national debate and suggest that elected leaders in Mount Kenya region are being bribed or they are available for hire. Let me tell you, my friend, before I came to Parliament myself, I'm not a poor man. I'm a man of means, and I'm a serious businessman, and the people of Madeira know. And I have no price. What happens to most of us? We are principled people. We are people who don't lie. We are not con men. And what the senator is saying that the president spoke in Rift Valley, is he trying to say that the president was deceiving the people of Rift Valley? That's a very serious accusation. It's very belittling to the president. Is he suggesting that the president went to con the people of Rift Valley so that he gets their vote? Far from it. I believe, and when we met the president after we were elected, he told us that our narrative, the Jubilee narrative, and our arrangements are intact. And when the time comes, he'll do what he needs to do. The president has never said anything different. What he has gotten are many, many spokespersons. You know, I know his spokesperson is Kansedena. All these are the spokesmen for the president. I don't know who hires them and who pays them. And everybody pretends to know what the president is thinking. When he came to Sagana, he says, I said nobody. He was there. The commanders were saying, Jubilee had no candidate in Kibra. He said, I'm the party leader, I had a candidate in Kibra. These people who speak don't speak for me. What we are saying is,
well, he never said that because of
Senator, when people come to the deputy president's functions, we're in Giakanja on Sunday. There were more than 3,000 people there. If they had a problem with his coming, they will not turn up. And he is invited by people. And they invite him because there is nothing he's doing differently from what he was doing between 2013 and 2017. I don't know why people want somebody to change his character and his modus operandi.
Let me bring in Zach here as a political analyst, looking at the figures, looking at even recent happenings. We had the deputy president pulling in more members of parliament from central than a presidential function. From a political analyst point of view, What does that say? What does that, because I mean, with politicians, they'll definitely push the end that they want us to hear and believe. But I'm hoping that you're standing on a ground where you can, literally say it as it is. But what does that tell us?
Allow me two things. One, to buttress his point, which I'll come to later, about the politics of money. That one I'll talk about, but I want to buttress the point and say it's not far away from the truth. Numbers, they say don't lie, but they never said how these numbers are procured. Because true, numbers don't lie, but you must as much contextualize the numbers that are not supposed to lie. Otherwise, if you hire numbers, they will lie. If you present numbers under duress, numbers will lie. If the numbers presented before you are cosmetic, they will lie. The president supposedly saying, even if it was in central Kenya, saying that Yagu Kumi, ya William Kumi, assuming it was in central Kenya. So, ya Kumi ya Uhuru imekwisha. Are they telling us that the president's 10 is over? And this overly ambitious takeover from William now, as it is happening in the mountain, ya Uhuru imekwisha 10. Because it is okay, suppose it is 10-10, and Zaki Kinuthia and Senator Njoroge has said it's all right. So ya Uhuru imekwisha 10. This is what I'm saying. Politics of deceit, not deception. Deceit. Deceit to the people. The people he's been elected to serve, who believes in him, I agree, majorly depend on him to know, especially to interpret matters of the state and statecraft. It is right, he has that right. But he stands on a pedestal of higher morality to owe them not just the right thing, but what they cannot access in the depths of rightness. The people, we know from the very beginning, have never held things right. If people are right, they would not have crucified Jesus, because he was healing them, he was feeding them, he was clothing them, and he raised the dead from the purgatory, the children, the wives, But the numbers you are talking about from the mountain, visibly that the deputy president is controlling, visibly from Gyakanja, the 3,000 people came, it is not Ruto who called them. They were called by the church that they believe in. The AIPCA church called the members. Then he was invited by the members of the church. So it's also important to say he's not the one who called them. So had the people been right, they would have said, excuse me, it is in law that whatever Pilate shall prosecute here shall go into the gallows. But this is not the man who has been doing what you are accusing him here. He has been our friend, healing us and giving us food. In the context of the mountain, the leaders who are being bashed by the president, and I tell you squarely here without blinking, these are Tanga Tanga adherents that the president is bashing.
You're saying that that's the people he was referring to?
Yeah, he was bashing them, and I cannot blink. He was bashing them because of the narratives they are poisoning the people with. They owe the people the truth. Let the people deal with the truth. It is difficult, I know. Truth is difficult to handle, but let them tell them the truth. In this matter, if it is true that the president promised his 10 years and William's 10 years, then the president was dishonest because he cannot control the future. The president cannot make Ruto 10 years.
So what truth is it that you're saying
that
the people of central Kenya should be told by their leaders?
One is that the 10 years is predicated on, again, allow me to go back to history. What Machiavelli said, that the promises of the past, or rather the promises made are the necessity of the past. But to fulfill the promises is the necessity of the present. The conditions under which the president may have promised 10 years for him and 10 years for Ruto, especially in the Valley, as he's saying, was the right thing there. And then to say, was the right thing at that time.
At that time?
Yes, because but they had, remember, what brought them together was not more of presidency. It was not more to acquire power.
But using the same principle that you brought in and referring to what you and the Mheshimiwa has said in terms of lies, are you suggesting that the president lied to the people?
No, that's what I'm saying. That the promises are a necessity of the past. That time it was not a lie. Let me say, but to fulfill them is a necessity of the present.
But you have just said your mother doesn't like lies. Tell us about that one.
This is what I'm saying. It is not a lie. At that time when he said 10-10, it wasn't a lie. They were fighting a bigger enemy.
So circumstances have changed.
The circumstances completely are different.
Completely different
In the mountain.
And is that then the truth that you're saying?
No, let me finish. It is not a lie. This is what I want to say. It wasn't a lie. A necessity is not a lie. Please, this is what I'm saying. A necessity is not a lie. At that time, they were fighting a bigger enemy who was an imperial.
So what you're saying is that time it was not a lie. So the truth now is that has changed. Circumstances have changed, and that's the truth that you're saying that Mheshimiwa should go and tell the people of Mandera.
They should tell the people. The president's narrative for seeking votes was being informed by different circumstances as we are now. And this is it as I finish. Let them tell the people, because they also have right of association. Let them tell the people from where I come from, because for me, I'm not elected, I have no mandate to tell them. The president's 10 years are not over. Actually, we are in the 6th year, because 2013 to 2019 is 6th year. 2020, we are getting into the 7th. What is so difficult to wait for the 3 years to complete his cycle, because it is 10 mine. Then there's a condition. Until 10 are over, 10 cannot be.
All right, let me bring in Senator. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's very unfortunate that the leaders from Mount Kenya continue lying to our people. They
What lies have they lied?
That's where I'm going. Remember the first time when the president pronounced that he doesn't care who wins the presidential election in 2022 was during the funeral of the father of one of the State House officials in Machakos.
Nzio Kawaita's father.
Nzio Kawaita. He was very clear that he will not care who gets it. 2, by the time he was talking about 10-10, he never said, I'll give you votes, because votes are for Kenyans. The president is elected by Kenyans. Remember, the position of the president is not a constituency position. This is a national position. And it would be very wrong for anybody trying to insinuate, or rather to make it look like the president has the powers to make Ruto the president for 10 years.
To save on time, you've talked about them not telling lies. What lies are you talking about that the people of Central need not to be told?
One of the things the leaders need to do, because this has to go as a civic education, that what president said during that time, it is not within his powers to make Ruto the president. And again, I am from Mount Kenya. Remember that. I have my vote. And I think I have a right to elect whomever I want to when time comes. So they don't have to make it look like it was a cast stone for Ruto to be elected as the president in Mount Kenya. And you see, one of the things that my friend here needs to realize is that the moment you keep on promising Ruto these kind of votes, which is not realistic and practical, you are telling the Rift Valley people, and especially from South Rift, that it is a must that Ruto will be elected, and especially from Mount Kenya, which will not be the case. And what will happen? That will create bad blood.
Well, just like the president said, nobody knows how it's going to play.
Exactly.
That's true.
You're right.
That's the truth.
Power.
That is
so
true.
None of us can sit here and say we know that that's what's going to happen. But maybe just something that you've mentioned, or maybe Mheshimiwa here did mention that leaders listen to the people.
Sure.
they follow what the people have to say and what they need. And one of the things he has mentioned is that, for instance, they had 3,000 people come for the deputy president's function. Those 3,000 people came to hear or to see or to participate knowing that the deputy president was coming. When we look at the number of leaders from Central that attended the president's function vis-a-vis the deputy president's function, there seems to be a shift. Would you agree that there is a shift?
No. I don't agree.
Let me put it this way. One, you know, we have leaders, minus him, because I said, I think I know, I understand his politics. There are those leaders who are in contract in Mount Kenya, who are paid to insult the president during those meetings.
And if you make such accusations, support them with evidence, because then it would be
of course,
just, you know, this is...
Of course, I have more experience, because this started immediately after 2017 election.
That there are leaders who are paid to insult the president.
Let me put it this way. You know, you see, I'm a politician, and sometimes we do things to the expense of our people. We don't care what they feel. We don't care what they want. And I would refer you to Kibera campaigns just the other day. You remember during when Ruto held a meeting there, he had the largest crowd than even which Raila had. But what was the outcome, finally? Remember, those were leaders who were there, and they were telling their people what to do. But did they follow what their leaders told them? No.
So your point?
What I'm saying is, sometimes leaders don't lead the people to the expectation of their people.
And that's why 80% of them don't come back.
You're right.
Let me say this. One, I want to really say this narrative that there are leaders from Mount Kenya region who abuse the president. That is not true. Let somebody provide a clip or a tape, somebody abusing the president. I don't think having an independent mind is an abuse. He has just told us that the president cannot direct us whom to vote for. At the same vein, we are also allowed to have freedom of mind and thinking and association, you know? I also want to tell you that there is no contest between the president and the deputy president. That is a narrative that is being skewed by people, that Ruto had more people, Uhuru had few people. No, far from it. I think it's just the way the president operates is a little bit different, provided sometimes I think he likes his functions to be low-key. This function he had in Roido, we were not invited. Had we been invited, we would have come. The last time he came to Sagana, the deputy president was supposed to have a function in Yakanja. He called it off because of the respect for the president, because he was in the area, and it would not have been good for the president to be in the same county and the deputy president to be in the same county. Another day, the president was coming to Moranga in Maragua, and the deputy president had an earlier scheduled function in Kandara in the same county. The deputy president called it off because of respect for the president. There is no contest between the president and the deputy. If the president has functions, his people don't invite us. If they do, we shall come. But I think the president, in his own way, appreciates low-key functions, which is in order. When he needed us and he felt we needed to be there, we were there. During the campaign, we were there, all of us. And anytime, the other day he was in Sagana, he called us. We were elected leaders. Of course, we were embarrassed. Elected leaders were not given a chance to speak. Myself, I'm the member of parliament for the area. I was not given a chance to speak. Zach Nodia here, who is not elected by anybody, was given a chance to speak. The people around the president, let me tell you what is happening. The people around the Ministry of Interior are trying to belittle elected leaders. And that's a mistake they are making. These leaders, when the president comes, he's there for only one day and he goes away. These leaders remain there with the people.
Are they doing that without the knowledge of the president?
I don't know, but whatever it is, what happened in Sagana left Mount Kenya more divided. They went and got people who were defeated, the master of ceremony. Another guy who lost election 20 years ago, God Jenga Mungai, was a speaker. Zaki Nodia purported to speak for the youth. These people are not known by anybody. They have no mandate.
All right.
Let me say. Now that let me say. They have no mandate to speak for anybody. When we went to Bomas, it was organized. People from ODM areas were allowed into the podium. Those from the Jubilee areas were kept in the tent. That is why they were heckling Murkomen.
And that's why now the question comes in. Is this being done without the
whatever the interior people are doing, let me tell you. You said that he said we go and tell our people the truth. Our people are the ones telling us the truth. What they saw in bombers, they didn't like it. They were on the screen. They're saying we don't like it. You are our leaders. We elected you. We respect you. People in my constituency were not amused.
So has that reduced their confidence in the president?
People in my constituency were not amused when I was not given a chance to speak. I was elected by 58,000 people. People who love me, who respect me for one reason or another, and who want me to be respected and to be recognized, and who believe I can articulate their issues. That meeting in Sagana, it was a praise and worship team. They were just telling the president this, but the real issues concerning our people
were not
the issue of milk, the issue of tea, the issue of coffee, the issue of the way our businessmen have been denied opportunities, the way our border people are being harassed, were not canvassed. And by the time we left, let me tell you, by the time we left, our people were more dissatisfied before they came.
Dissatisfied with what?
With the outcome of the meeting, that the elected leaders...
Would it be accurate then to say they were dissatisfied with the president?
No. With the way the meeting was conducted. You know the president...
Let me tell you. The
president, by the way, I worked for the president myself as his personal assistant for 7 years. Okay? When you work for the president, that was before he became president. He was minister, he was leader of official position. You arrange things for him. The president is a busy man.
Okay.
He's handling the economy, international relations. There are people charged with the responsibility to arrange things for him. Sagana, if I was arranging for him, I would have done it differently.
We need to conclude.
Let me tell you, I would have done it differently.
We need to conclude.
I would have organized a smaller meeting of leaders for him to understand the issues, so that when he comes to the bigger meeting, he can address the real issues affecting the people of that region.
Does the president know that the people of Central Kenya were disappointed with the meeting?
We are talking about it. I'm sure he is hearing. We were dissatisfied with Sagana. We were dissatisfied with the bomb.
We're really out of time. I need to give you each just a minute for closing remarks.
Because I spoke.
Closing remarks for a minute, please.
Because I spoke in the meeting, I would want to respond and say, I think it is also another lie from Heshimua, from Mathira, that people are dissatisfied. The governor himself spoke. He's a senior elected leader in Nyeri County. He spoke. Then they spoke the senator elected by the people, a former minister of cooperatives from Embu. There spoke a governor for Meru, who was the curtain raiser. Zach spoke. From the wisdom of the gathering of the meeting, as a leader of the youth. I've been elected. I heard him say I haven't been elected. I've been elected by over 77,000 students in the University of Nairobi to represent them, the whole country, not just Mount Kenya, the whole country. And this notion of saying that people who are not elected have no opinion is coming from the arrogance of the priestly table of Tanga Tanga adherent and worshippers of Deputy President. The president, in his wisdom, know why he does not allow some people to speak in his meetings, because they sabotage him, they gossip against him, and they speak ill of him outside the camera. And as a man, he has emotions. I'm not going to allow the children who are deterrent to speak in a meeting where I summon the mother and the other sibling. If it is necessary, I will chase those children out of the house and just reserve the right for them to eat.
All right, Zach, your time is up. Senator, your closing remarks, a minute.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I need to appeal to leaders in Mount Kenya, from Mount Kenya region. They stop dividing our people. They stop fighting the president as they continue sugarcoating his name whenever they're mentioning his name. We know that has been happening also from their leader, who is the deputy president, who is the leader of Tanga Tanga, because he normally uses them, actually, whenever he wants to fight the president. I think Mount Kenya people are more intelligent than they could be thinking. Thank you.
All right, your closing remarks, sir.
I think the president has a mind of his own, and he can speak for himself. If his deputy is fighting him, he can sort it out. If we leaders are fighting him, he'll call us and tell us. We hear it from bystanders and people who are looking for relevance. The president of this republic is a man. He's a leader. He can speak for himself. He can't fear to speak. He can summon us in a parliamentary meeting and tell us this is the way I want us to proceed. He has not called us. He has not told us, don't accompany the deputy president. He hasn't told us he has a problem with the deputy president. Who are these people who are trying to advise us what to do? Let them first seek election. let them know how to recruit agents, let them get people who have slept in different homes to come and say that they are competent. You know, you can't have people who are not answerable to anybody. What I say today here, I must measure my words. If I speak something here, I have people who can ask me a question. If Zach Kinuthia speaks here, who can hold him to account? Nobody.
At least you can.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I will have to wind up right there. Thank you very much. Zach Kinuthia, who is a lawyer and also a political analyst. We have Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, Member of Parliament for Madeira. And last but not least, Honorable Paul Njoroge, former nominated senator. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Political Point this morning. It's now